Jurassic Park, a film that started off as its own one-off movie with seemingly no intentions of a sequel, has now become a 4-part franchise. The first one changed cinema forever. The second and third, to put it mildly, did not. So now the fourth installment, which is a sequel but is a bit more rebootish to be honest, has arrived. And I want to share my thoughts. Also, I am aware that the movie's been out for a bit, but who cares? Let's just talk about it now. Oh, and also, there won't be any spoilers for the first part of the review. Then I'll give an official spoiler warning very clearly and loudly, so nothing will be ruined for you. Alright, let's start.
Eyes on me. Good.
So just a quick Jurassic Park background here. As some may recall from previous videos of mine, I hadn't actually seen the original Jurassic Park, which since I'm someone who wants a career in filmmaking and someone who's a huge Spielberg fan, that's kind of insane. But literally the day before I saw Jurassic World, Jurassic Park was on, so I sat down and watched it, and to keep my review of it brief, I absolutely loved it, and it's now one of my favorite movies of all time. And also, I haven't seen the sequel or the threequel, because if I know that something is probably going to be terrible, I'm not going to go out of my way to find it.
Alan.
So I went into this with an open mind. Executive produced by Steven Spielberg, starring Chris Pratt, giant dinosaurs eating sharks, sign me up. And when I left the theater, I was satisfied. Actually, a little bit more than satisfied. First off, the plot. Well, Jurassic World is open now, because somehow. They explain it, kind of, in the movie. I'll get into that in spoilers. The park is open, and now that it is, it's like Disney World. It's a legit theme park. And I thought that was a really interesting twist on it. In the first film, they're showing them around this empty theme park, and it gets crazy. Now there are actually people here. This is what it should be, with petting zoos and tours and all that. And then it gets crazy. There were new dinosaurs, and I just thought it was cool to see John Hammond's vision of the park lived out. Then people are getting bored with this stuff, so they need to up the ante. And I also like that. It's not like this movie is an intellectual think piece or anything, but I thought the plot was kind of like what would happen in our real world. Once the overall shock of seeing dinosaurs is over, people would be like, alright, what's next? Kind of like with the movie Jurassic Park. You see dinosaurs on screen for the first time, and you're like, this is awesome. But now we need something new. There was a line in this movie, something like, kids now look at a stegosaurus the same way that they look at an elephant in the zoo. I don't know, I just thought that aspect was cool. So because they need something bigger and more dangerous, they make the Indominus Rex, which is this just insane mega dino hybrid combo killer. And there's actually a scene where BD Wong is just listing off the things it can do, and you're like, well, everyone on this island is screwed. And the Indominus Rex, to be completely honest, it did feel a little bit desperate. Like, oh, we have to make this one really stand out, so let's make Raptor and T-Rex and Snake and Bullfrog and whatever. But still, he was fierce and frightening and not bad at all. So now they need to fight back with the help of Chris Pratt. And great segue into the cast. There's Chris Pratt, and he's great like he is in everything else. Let's be real here. He's basically playing Indiana Jones in this. Ladies man, motorcycle riding adventurer with the knowledge and quips. This is more or less his audition. Then there's Bryce Dallas Howard, and she wasn't as bad as I thought she'd be. She isn't the best actress out there, but she was fine. And she managed to complete the entire movie wearing high heels, so points for that, I guess. Then there are the two kids, and they weren't bad at all. Although, that kid from Iron Man 3 isn't everything now. I know he has a name, but I'm gonna call him the kid from Iron Man 3. And finally, Vincent D'Onofrio was good. He was kind of cartoonish at times, which was really disappointing to see after his amazing performance on Daredevil. His whole subplot, though, I could have done without. Not spoiling it, but I was thinking, we've already got the Indominus. I don't feel like we need this new thing. Now just some overall things that I liked. John Williams' score is back, and it's glorious. Early on, there's a shot of the whole Jurassic World with that music playing, and I thought that was really good. The dinosaurs were cool, especially the big shark-eating dino. He or she was awesome. The pterodactyl attack scene was pretty cool. And on that note, I just want to mention that the special effects are amazing. People are complaining that there's too much CGI, but it didn't take me out of it at all. Oh, also, on that pterodactyl attack and just in general, a lot of people get eaten pretty viciously. You also really do see it coming though. When there are a bunch of nameless characters going out to find a dinosaur, they're gonna get eaten. You just know it. There were also quite a few scenes, especially some chases, that were a lot more intense than I thought they'd be. And as far as things that I didn't like, you'll probably see more in the spoiler section, but this movie is pretty stupid and illogical. Especially towards the end, it's like the director said, well, we ain't going for realism, let's just throw it all at the wall and see what sticks. To be fair though, most of the stuff actually sticks. However, and again, more detail in spoilers, it does have the most ridiculous, nonsensical, yet so awesome and epic climax. It's just, it was amazing. I genuinely loved that part. There was also one too many nods to the first Jurassic Park for my taste. I don't know, might just be me. So before I wrap up the non-spoiler part of this, I just want to say one quick thing that doesn't really have to do with Jurassic World. And yes, this is kind of a shameless plug. I just want to say, I watch a lot of movies, especially in cinemas, but I don't have time to review them all here. I made an exception for this film because I had a lot of thoughts. So that's what I mainly do on my Instagram, BHL_Hudson. I really don't want to be that guy who keeps shoving his social media in people's faces, but I'm just saying, if you want to know my thoughts on the movies that I see in one or two brief sentences, feel free to check that out. So overall, Jurassic World is a really fun movie, if also kinda dumb. It's got some great moments, it's got some bad moments. It's got some great performances, it's got some bad performances. It's a little bit of a mixed bag, but overall, I really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend you see it in theaters for the spectacle. I'll give it a 7.9 out of 10. So that was my non-spoiler review. Now for some spoilers. So I've just got a couple of points here. Firstly, Vincent D'Onofrio and his subplot. He basically wants to weaponize dinosaurs after seeing Chris Pratt can train them, and so he wants to use the Raptors against the Indominus so they can be shown to the military, which was really just an excuse for this scene. But like I said, I didn't feel like it was really necessary. Also, on that note, the Raptors. When the trailer was first released, everyone was freaking out because the Raptors were basically domesticated. But in the actual movie, it didn't annoy me. They're still these vicious killing machines. Now I guess they're just with the humans. But at one point in the movie, they do switch sides and go back to being, you know, evil. And that was a pretty sweet scene. Something that sort of annoyed me was that they went to the original visitor center from the first movie. And sure, it was cool to see all the references. But it was just so obvious that they needed to have some Easter eggs, and I felt that they just did it in a lazy way. But oh well, it wasn't that bad. And speaking of which, since this is, as the director said, considered more of a direct sequel to the first film, although the others are technically canon, I was wondering how the park is still open after the complete disaster that took place in the first movie. And they kind of explain it. This guy's wearing a Jurassic Park t-shirt, and Bryce Dallas Howard is like, that's totally insensitive. A lot of people died there. So I guess it's kind of like if at the start of Disney World, Mickey Mouse accidentally went on a killing spree, but then they got around those problems, and now it's open. It was good to see them address it, but they did kind of gloss over it. And now for the ending or the climax. It was really ridiculous, and I would say kind of illogical, but it was the coolest thing in the world. The climax consists of a T-Rex and a Raptor teaming up on the Indominus Rex and fighting alongside each other. You see Bryce Dallas Howard say, let's open paddock 9, and you're like, this better be the T-Rex. And that is what I wanted so bad out of this. A T-Rex versus Indominus battle. And then throw a Raptor in there for good measure. It was spectacular. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Jurassic World. Good movie with some flaws that you should go see. What did you think of it? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments. Also, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.